Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel, Charles Morris. There's additional $800 million that are being spent to aid the people of Ukraine. These are mortar, like, these include missiles, armor, a lot of military equipment that is needed by the Ukraine people to fight off this war and end this unwanted war that Vladimir Putin has declared without any reason. What I heard from Vladimir Putin is he's doing this for the future of the Russian economy. And his belief that Ukraine was made for Russia. And that the country is controlled by neo-Nazis. And, that I would have to say that's just not very, very good reason. Okay, Ukraine does not even belong to Russia at all. And in Russia, you don't have the same kind of freedom like you would here in the US. And the Ukraine people are the Ukraine people are their own people. I mean, for what right does the Russian president have to just go out and order his Russian terrorist force to just go there and start bombing and blowing people up? It's totally sick, That anyway, the $800 million is going to be spent on a package with additional support that will give the Ukrainians the weaponry they need to kill Russian troops, because this war needs to end. And President Zelensky has made a presentation, and he's made there's a video that's been made to show that how many Ukrainians are dying in their country. And it's to capture all of the terrible things that are happening over there in Ukraine. And President Zelensky is begging the U.S. to aid them. Putin. They need the U.S. over there because because we are they will want the U.S. over there to help fight against the Russians. But Joe Biden does not want to send the U.S. troops over into Ukraine because this could create a World War III. But there's another story. Now that Russia's economy is completely weakened, they don't have anything in Russia. There's no stores that you could go to in Russia. There's, it's almost like Russia has nothing at this point due to all these sanctions. And Vladimir Putin is calling on China for assistance. And they want the Chinese to provide military support in getting around these sanctions that NATO has put upon Russia. And I would just be interested to know exactly if China is actually going to really get their military forces involved with the Ukraine crisis and help Vladimir Putin achieve his goal. Now, China has denied that Russia has tried to reach out to them and said it was a bunch of misinformation or disinformation. And pretty much China's denying that Russia has asked them for help. Now, I wouldn't know exactly how this would actually turn out, but I'm sure China is just trying to cover their behinds. And deny the fact that Russia has asked them for support economically and militarily. So it's very, very fishy what China would be doing at this point. That Vladimir Putin cannot take the pressure that is being laid on him. The U.S. and NATO allies are doing everything they can to help the Ukraine people fight off NATO and the U.S. are providing the military equipment that the Ukraine people need to fight off this Russian terrorist group. Because this is going on far enough, and I shouldn't say far enough. Okay, I could probably say this has gone on far enough where the Ukraine people are getting blown up just about every day by this Russia military group, and there is a point where this whole thing is going to come to an end, and we don't know how long this is going to last. This could last for months and months without any knowledge of how long this is going to last. This could even take like years to get over. Now that's just me being, exaggerating a bit on how long this is going to last, but it's going to last a very, very long time. This war, this unwanted war that Vladimir Putin had declared on Ukraine could last a lot of years. And on top of that, I should also be announcing a big warning here that NATO countries could also be next. So after Vladimir Putin is done with attacking all of Ukraine, and there's nothing left for the Russians to take over in Ukraine, and there's nobody else left to actually blow up, the Russian army could advance to Poland and start blowing people up in that area, that state in that country. And when he's successful in blowing up all of Poland, then he could start, randomly targeting NATO countries that supported the Ukraine war and blow those people up and destroy every single thing that is in those cities. And then eventually, the US could end up being a target for the Russians. And I want to say again, I'm exaggerating this, but this is a very, very serious issue that pretty much not just people in Europe need to deal with, but if we support our NATO allies and that stuff, and Vladimir Putin is not liking what we do to support the Ukraine people and that stuff, then we could also face a serious war from the Russians, because this is the I want to say this: Vladimir Putin wants to punish those who interfere with what he is doing. We are going to face the worst consequence that we have ever experienced in history. Now, maybe the Russians might not fly to the United States, but they could wipe us out with a nuclear weapon. So, if the Russians are successful in capturing all of these nuclear weapon sites, they could use those nuclear weapon sites and launch nuclear missiles that would actually wipe out the whole entire world. Or maybe not the whole entire world, but maybe enough power to eliminate a entire country. So we have a reason to be scared about all of this happening right now. Because we gotta hope that the Ukraine people can actually fight the Russian army off and kill them and eliminate every single Russian force that is bringing terrible and deadly destruction to every single Ukraine civilian and building. And using nuclear weapons to wipe out buildings and civilians and the Ukraine military force and eventually other countries. Russia has become, well, the Russian military and Vladimir Putin have become the most biggest threat in the whole entire world. This military group in Russia had become a terrorist force, and something needs to be done about this. Because if we the more that this continues and it gets more deadly and Russia keeps on putting the pressure on the Ukraine people and continue to threaten them, and Vladimir Putin orders backup from China to assist the Russian troops, it's going to be one big of a mess. Now, China should also be facing some big consequences as well. If they're going to assist the Russian people or the Russian troops in helping Vladimir Putin conquer his goal or achieve his goal, then China will have to have a big price to pay as well. And the United States is keeping a big eye out on China right now. China will have a price to pay if it interferes in helping with the Russian people and helping Vladimir Putin achieve his goal of world domination. Now, maybe not world domination, but they could help the Russians destroy Ukraine. And it would not go well at all. And eventually, if there is a big mess that gets out there where China aids Russian troops, there could be a very, very big mess, and this could turn into a much bigger unwanted war than it actually really is. And then eventually, the U.S. may have to get involved with the war as well, and that could end up being the start of World War III. And this is becoming a very, very serious issue. And I think that we should be aware that eventually, if things get really out of hand and that stuff, and Russia wants to blow up the whole entire world and that stuff, then Earth wouldn't be in existence anymore. Nobody would be around. I wouldn't be around to be making this channel anymore. Nobody would be around anymore. And President Zelensky said that, we'll have a day when everybody dies, but nobody has the right to come and, take the life of people. I mean, death is a natural part of life, but nobody has the right to force death over bloodshed and violence. Okay, it's the most terrible thing, and Vladimir Putin is going to pay for this one day. And I believe there is somebody that is hyped up about assassinating Vladimir Putin because he has become the most evil person in the whole entire Russian country. And something needs to be done about this guy. The more that this goes on, the more this could turn out to be a much bigger threat than it actually is. Thousands of Ukraine people are dying. Now, maybe even millions. And this can be... It could be the most terrible... It could be the most terrible thing that we'd ever experience in world history. And on top of that, the Russians are going to feel very, very sorry that they ever set foot in Ukraine. And everybody is punishing Putin. Except for China. And a lot of the world, except China, is putting the pressure on Vladimir Putin. And they're reminding Putin that he's making a dreadful mistake in causing this unwanted war. And here's a point I want to make. Russia alone may not be able to stand the chance of conquering all of Ukraine if our whole entire NATO force is doing everything they can to support Ukraine with military weapons and assisting the Ukraine people in getting rid of Russia, getting rid of Russian forces, and driving the Russian forces out of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin will realize he made the biggest mistake. Because let me tell you, one force can't... one force can't do it all. There has to be a combination of... There has to be like some coordination where forces work together to get rid of the big threat. So the chances of Russia being successful is not as high as the people, our NATO allies that are supporting the Ukraine people. And the only ally that Russia has is China. Now, they could be asking North Korea and helping with assistance. And I'm sure Kim Jong-un would be glad to assist the Russians. But I don't even know if Kim Jong-un is an ally with the Russian people. But, no, time would tell us if Ukraine, or if North Korea is an ally with the Russians. I don't know if North Korea would be, but like I said again, time will tell us. And we just have to go from there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what we said here, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel Charles Morse. And until my next video, you know, let's hope this $800 million of assistance with the Ukraine people will help them fight off the Russians. This is Charles Morse. Have a good day. I will see you all in the next video.